Hey guys, and welcome back. I hope everyone is doing okay today. I'm sure you've seen it on social media now. Newcastle United have officially announced the signing of Tonali. You guys can stop William now. The deal is through the door. Newcastle have signed him from AC Milan. Once again, we have took the AC Milan lad out of AC Milan. We've got him for 6 years. Someone that I think progressively over time is going to become a key catalyst in our squad, and I'm buzzing with a signing. Champions League football, one of the main reasons I think we've been able to get a player of his calibre in. But anyway guys, welcome back. I hope you're all doing fine. If you're new around here and you like what you're watching, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button as well if you enjoy daily uploads on the channel. And speaking of Tonali, he is still yet to turn up to Newcastle actually to get his pictures taken inside St James's Park. He'll still get shown around the training ground. You get a tour of the lovely facilities we have. And then you'll go away and come back once Newcastle's pre-season starts, which, to be fair, I think it's meant to start around this weekend anyway, because we've got Gates in less than 2 weeks' time, so the players have got to come back at some point. If I had to give an estimate guess, I think we probably will come back either this weekend or maybe next Monday. I think we're literally less than a week from pre-season, considering the girls are back as well. So I think we will come back within the next week or so. So Tonali might even go back to Italy for a bit. But back on topic though, there will be daily uploads on the channel. If you want to see me upload the video when Tonali actually turns up at Newcastle, you know where to find me. Appreciate your support as always. But other than Tonali, have we got anything else floating around in the background? What news have we got to deliver today? So without further ado, let's get straight into things. Finally, on the topic of Sandro Tonali, Eddie Howe has since spoken out to Keith Downey about his thoughts on the brand new signing coming in, saying that Tonali's an unbelievable talent. He has the physicality, the mentality, and also the technical attribute to be a great player at this club. At 23 years old, he already has important experience in the Champions League and also playing for his national country in Italy. So Eddie Howe has spoken out at great lengths about this signing coming in. That's our first major deal through the window. I said in a couple of my previous videos that I stand by Newcastle will sign probably between 5 to 6 players in this window, and that includes loan signs as well. So it's not a case of going out and you're splashing loads of money, because under financial fair play there still are regulations and rules we have to apply to. But I do stand by that Newcastle will spend a decent amount of money regardless of what you've heard elsewhere in media or reports. Newcastle will still spend a decent amount of money. There's ways you can go around deals, there's structures you can go in place, there's installments you can pay off. And for us, you've seen it last summer when we spent well over £100 million. So if there's anyone out there you feel like trying to scare you a little bit, trying to put these weird reports out, I'm telling you now, Newcastle can spend a decent amount of money in this window. Don't worry about it. But as for what our players we can get in now, we're getting to that in just a second. But finally, Tonali is expected to come up in Tyneside on Wednesday, so that's when I'll be out and about, get my video done. So if you guys are anywhere and you want to come say hello, feel free to do so. I'll be out all day. I'm hoping the weather's like this. It's quite a nice day actually, considering how bad the last couple have been. So I'm hoping to God that doesn't rain. But anyway though, enough about me. Let's actually tell you about some of our players now. We will begin things off by talking about the current Southampton right-back Timo Livramento. It had been reported previously that Newcastle was actually went in with an initial offer of £12 million and Ryan Fraser on top of that to try and bring in the Southampton man. Since then, no, unfortunately, it's been a bit of a stalemate between the two clubs. And the main reason behind that is because, well, Livramento actually wants regular first-team football for whatever club he joins. And, of course, he will not get that at Newcastle due to the fact that Kieran Trippier is our regular starting right-back. Now, to be honest, I actually respect this quite a lot. He doesn't want to join Newcastle because we're in the Champions League. He doesn't want the extra wages he would get him. He just wants to play football. And I think it's quite rare nowadays for a player to actually pick regular first-team football over joining a bigger club or just joining a club to get more money. I like it a lot and I respect him for it. If it's a case where he's going to join a mid-tier Premier League club, he's going to go in a different league just to start. I've got no issues with it. I think he's probably made the right choice for himself and for Newcastle. It's just a case where you're going to tick his name off the list and you're going for the next player. Newcastle have that massive list now. We've got all these targets we want to go in for. You've seen it a couple of times, the likes of Madison, Sabosky, players we're going for. We're not going to get all of them. Some of them will go elsewhere. It's forced now to actually go out and pick our targets that we went for. Newcastle will have an extensive list. We need to get players in, and the club will do that. It's that simple. And when Livramento side of things, fair enough. As for our targets, there's actually been reported as potential loan moves as well for two English lads, Conor Gallagher from Chelsea and also Kalvin Phillips from Manchester City. Bit of a contrast between the two players, to be honest. I think Gallagher will begin off with him. Someone that I did like a lot of Crystal Palace. I think he had a really good loan spell there. Since then, he's came back to Chelsea, and to be honest, he's had a pretty crap season. But at the same time, you can say that by the majority of Chelsea players. So I don't think it's entirely fair to criticise him based on last season, because I think every Chelsea player had a bad season. But he's someone that I think on a loan deal, I wouldn't entirely say no to it, because we're not spending loads of money on him, but I don't think he's better than what we have, to be honest. So if we get him on loan just to have a squad depth, is that going to benefit the players in that same position now at Chelsea? So I don't think he'd be in the best interest to loan him, because we aren't going to start him on a regular basis. Whereas Kalvin Phillips, he's more interesting because he's a player I like a lot. I think he is good. I'm expecting now that Newcastle's middle three is going to be Bruno, Jordan and Tonali, but I think Kalvin Phillips is a close number 4, and then you have Willock and Longstaff. So imagine that midfield next season. Holy smokes, we'll have a good team there. But Phillips is a different one because, well, despite the fact Newcastle do have a big midfield now, it's still a case that with the Champions League matches, he will get a decent amount of game time, and he's not getting any game time at all for Manchester City. So he will get more at Newcastle, despite it not necessarily being him starting every week. But whether Manchester City would loan him to us or not is another question. Again, we are a rival at Manchester City now. We're a team that could knock on that door. I mean, you've seen the signs of getting a signing on our lad now for £90 million. I don't think realistically we are going to pose a threat to him, but it might be a case where City are like, you know what, Newcastle, we're not going to loan to you. We're loaning to someone that's going to get more game time out of him, and someone that's not going to pose a massive threat to us in the league. So it'll be an interesting one again, but the possibility of loaning one of those two, definitely think it's realistic. Phillips I like a lot. Gallagher I'm probably not overly keen on, but again, if it's a loan move, I'm not necessarily saying no to it. Well, I will see what happens to these two, but I definitely think it's interesting. I think it's realistic, and I think for Newcastle, especially Phillips, I would 100% say yes to. And finally, as for outgoings, one name that constantly pops up on social media, and once again within the last 24 hours, his name's been popping up everywhere. It's Aaron Saint-Maximin. Now, apologies for not showing any Twitter posts here. You can blame Elon Musk for that one. The website's been a nightmare, so I'm going to have to show them on Google. But it's been a case where there's been plenty of reports coming out about the player. I made a video just over a month ago now stating how I personally believe he would leave in this window. I think especially with his personal side of things, he's seen his messages on social media, these cryptic messages that reflect his time at the club. It just feel like goodbye messages. I don't know if he's trying to work a contract out with the club. I think that's a possibility. He's definitely trying to get more wages in, so he's going to put these messages to imply that he's wanting to leave the club. It's a strange one. I still not entirely sure everything that's going on behind the scenes. I can only report on what I've seen on social media, and people are reporting out there saying that if Newcastle was to receive a bid for around £40 million, they would be willing to sell him. Now, as for my personal opinion, I think it's a case where I think Newcastle probably would want to keep him, but I think it's one of them ones where if Saint-Maximin himself asks the club, can I go somewhere else, I think Newcastle would say yes. I don't think it's a case where we'd try and forcefully keep him. I think it's one of them ones where Newcastle are happy to keep him, but they're also happy to let him go if they believe a good offer comes in. And I think especially one important factor in this deal will be the Saudi Arabia clubs. You've seen the amount of clubs in Saudi Arabia that have put massive wages, massive transfer fees into players. I think Saint-Maximin is a sort of player that could fit that bill. Saudi Arabia obviously trying to attract more fans to watch the sport. Saint-Maximin's a flair player. He's someone that would sell tickets. People would want to come and see him. So for Saudi Arabia clubs, I could see one of them potentially coming in for mad bids, and that's when Newcastle, I think, would sell if, let's say, someone puts £40-50 million in for, and Saint-Maximin gets double his wage that he's getting in Newcastle. And that's the sort of thing that I could see potentially happening. I think he would leave. But other than that, I don't see many clubs signing because, well, I mean, his transfer value is probably between £30-40 million. Can Newcastle honestly sign a better player for that amount of money than Saint-Maximin? For me, outright players, no, I don't think we can. I think it's very hard in today's window. You've seen the likes of Dominic Szoboszlai, we already went in for. Liverpool activated his release clause for £60 million. That's the sort of deals you got to do nowadays. And I think for the money you get for Saint-Maximin, I don't think there's much better out there, if anything. So I think for now, he might stay. If I had to change my opinion, I think he might potentially stay. But it's still a weird one, this one. It still seems to be a massive question mark surrounding his future. But definitely want to keep an eye on. I think unless a Saudi Arabia club comes in for him, I think he probably is more likely to stay and leave. Unless Saint-Maximin himself hands in a transfer request and asks to leave the club. But I think the club side of things, they seem to be alright either way, if I had to give an honest personal opinion on it. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts down below on that. A bit of a shorter one today. We got through the loan signings. Obviously, Tonali's been officially announced. We can finally stop talking about him and just look forward to him turning up in Newcastle now. St Maximin, he's still a name that's going to constantly pop up throughout this window. I think the likes of Mankiewicz are more or less going to be guaranteed to leave, especially the likes of Darlow, is where he's going to be gone. But it's one of them ones now, in order for Newcastle to sign, we have to sell. So who's going to go out the door so we can bring more in? We're going to find out over the next few weeks about that. But appreciate you guys watching. Take care. Let me know your thoughts down below. And I will see you all in the next one.